Today, we shall be appraising some of the recent fiscal, monetary, as well as regulatory policies that have come from government and their impact on the investor climate in Nigeria. And my guest, who is an economic and investment analyst, Dr. Ajulo Anthony, is right here with us. Thank you for joining us on Business Daily.
Hi, good morning, Chiamaka. How are you today? It's good to join you today.
Thank you, Doctor. Let us start off with, your point of view on, in the sense of, the recent fiscal policies. Just this morning, we did hear that power tariffs are going to be increased. And we have seen a lot play out lately, in terms of the regulatory, from the regulatory side to the fiscal side and all of those. But let's hear from you. How would you appraise the Nigerian current business climate?
Well, I'm not an economist. I'm a manufacturer. I'm an industrialist. So I'm going to give you the real sector perspective to the issues, so that you can understand what the business community is feeling about the policies of the government. I'll say it's been a mixed bag. There've been a lot of positive, and there've also been quite a few negative that the government needs to work on. On the fiscal policy side, the government policies as relates to spending, we don't know much yet because this is the first full budgetary cycle that the government is going to be running. But from the budget, we think there's a bit of hope. We're going to see how the budget is implemented. If the budget is properly implemented, we believe that it should impact the economy. On taxation fronts, it looks like this government is very interested in widening the tax net, which is a good thing, but we would also want the government to not put too much pressure on the people who are already paying taxes. We have a lot of businesses, individual citizens who are already paying taxes. I don't think what the government needs is more taxes. I think what the government needs is widening the tax net, so that more people are captured within the tax net and the government revenue is able to increase. So that's on the side of the fiscal policies. I also think that there are a few things that the government hasn't gotten right, but I'm happy that they are taking quick decision to fix these things. One of them is the issue of the expatriate tax. I think it was not a well thought out plan. The government needs to go back to the drawing board and try to check that policy again and see that because that policy is going to disrupt the manufacturing and the real sector in Nigeria if it is implemented. So these are the areas of monetary policy. On the fiscal policy front, the foreign exchange rate has been extremely, the impact of the foreign exchange rate has been extremely bad for the economy. The liberalization, the dollar had to go from almost 700 to about 1,800 within a period of 7 to 8 months. It's very bad. It has impacted the prices of food, impacted the prices of practically every area of life. The transportation is more expensive because even the diesel we use for fueling the vehicles, for fueling the trucks that move food, that move goods, are imported, and the prices of diesel has gone up from almost 800 to almost 1,400, 1,500. But we're happy that whatever the CBN is doing to intervene, because I think that the whole idea before was to create a fully liberalized foreign exchange market. But I think the CBN is realizing that doesn't work in any economy, and they are coming with a mix of liberalization and a bit of managed float for currency, and that is yielding result, because I think as of today, dollar is something in the region of 1,200. A lot of people are not happy about that, those who are betting against the naira, but we manufacturers and those who wish Nigeria well, we are happy about that, because we hope that in the next 3 to 6 months, dollar even drops down to maybe 800, 900, so that prices of goods can come down more. The manufacturers are able to source raw material more, because the bulk of our raw materials are imported into this country. Few raw materials are manufactured in Nigeria today because our industrial capacity hasn't grown to that level. So I think this is my take so far on the government. And one last thing I like to add is the is on the fiscal policy area also. I think that the government also needs to improve the operation of the Nigerian Customs Service. For instance, it's so difficult to get to clear your goods out of the port. Apart from this fact that it's so difficult, Nigeria has one of the highest rate of cost of clearing at the ports almost in anywhere in the world. The custom duties are extremely high. The terminal duties are high. The shipping charges are high. And these are things that government can intervene in, or the government agencies can intervene in. And these are all part of fiscal policies that will help to make Nigeria more business friendly. You find out a situation where the custom duty rate is even higher than the FS rate so government needs to intervene and look at these areas to help the real sector to grow better and to help investors so that we can improve the confidence of investors and investors can bring more money into the economy. That's my take on this.
What a very detailed take, I should say. You have basically touched on the major aspect, within the fiscal and monetary side. But I will take you from your thoughts on, the convergence of rates. We have seen, quite a number of policies and actions from the government towards converging the rates. And we also did see the float, like you rightly mentioned. But one of the recent policies we did see from the government, obviously, was, in the area of the BDCs, where the Central Bank of Nigeria also, included the BDCs in its FX market. What at this point would you recommend, investors or the CBN rather now, towards addressing the issue of different rates within the BDCs and official rates moving forward, and how these can impact, towards attracting capital inflows? But let's hear from you now.
Okay, I think that this is an area I like contributing to because I directly feel the impact of this. This is affecting my business and impacting my business. As a manufacturer, a lot of my activities revolves around FX in bringing in raw material into the country to use in our factories. What I think, has been a problem in the last 7-8 months is that we have not been able to access forex through the regular banking window, and so we have to go to the black market. Of course, there was a single market, but that market, there was no intervention from the government, and the banks were holding their dollars. The banks were not selling. I think things began to change with the recent changes in the CBN policies. First, maybe selling to the Bureau de Change and other interventions that they are doing. And then the clearing of the backlog, and I think because of this, the market has become a little more liquid. I think that whatever CBN is doing, they need to continue to do, and they need to do more. We, the real sector, can tell them what is working and what is not working. One of the things I feel the CBN needs to do is to find a way of finding who are the genuine users of this FX, who are the genuine importers, and government can also intervene by creating special access to them. I mean, government can, for instance, it's extremely impossible for you to round trip or divert FX if you are using LC through the banks. So government can say all manufacturers through MAN should they should create a special intervention which will make us to be able to have access to FX even at the regular rate, not at a special rate, at the same rate. But whatever rate CBN is giving, if you find that if the CBN does this and they create this intervention where manufacturers have access to FX through the bank, and all of us are able to open LC, letter of credit, and to buy our raw material, I guarantee you that alongside with what CBN is doing, in the next 3 to 6 months, dollar is going to be in the region of 600-700 naira. I think that if the CBN is able to do this, intervene intelligently and strategically, through supporting, because the bulk of dollar purchase, for legal businesses come from manufacturers and importers, and if the CBN is able to identify this chunk of people and create a window for them to access dollar through letter of credit alongside whatever they are doing, I guarantee you that people like us will not have to go to black markets, because we would want to practically deal through the government, through the banking sector and through the created window, and that will further help to drive down the dollar rate if a lot of real-time investors are being taken away from the black market or the outside the banking sector window, So I think that this is what the CBN can do: create additional special intervention fund where manufacturer can access dollar to buy their raw material using letter of credit, and I guarantee the CBN that the dollar is going to come crashing further. And a lot of speculators who are banked against the dollar becoming
as a key player in the
2,500 are going to lose
sector,
money.
I will like to hear from you, as regards the signals that investors should look out for. I understand that, there's quite a lot to use to gauge the effectiveness of the recent policies. But what would you say, the Nigerian investor or even foreign investors should look out for when thinking of investing in the Nigerian economy?
Okay, I think that what the investors should look out for are the policy, the consistency of policy of the government, and to also see if the government is fast on its feet. For instance, when the government came up with the expatriate tax, whatever, and the real sector rose and gave them the statistics. Let me tell you this: there are still a lot of manufacturing activities that we run in Nigeria that we don't have full capacity to run, that the technology hasn't been fully transferred to our people. So if you have to tax these people and people have to send this expatriate back, how are we going to run these factories? So the fact that the government seems to be a listening government that listen to good advice and sense, and that listen to good advice from the people and from the real sector, I think that's something that investors are really, really, really will be impressed about. And also the fact that the government is also, fast on its feet. The policies are being reviewed from time to time. Whatever the CBN is doing now, I mean, it's good. Just 3 weeks to 1 month ago, dollar was 1,800. We're buying dollar at 1,800 to import our raw material in, and today dollar is 1,200 thereabout. And even Bloomberg has said that between now and the end of the year, maybe dollar will go as low as 800, 750. So if government continues to walk along this line and continue to meet expectation of and projection that experts have made about the economy, and the policies are consistent, I think that investors are going to be positively inclined to invest in Nigeria. Finally, one of the biggest obstacles to investment in any economy is when your foreign exchange is too volatile. I have quite a few friends and investors who were supposed to set up factories or bring certain investment into Nigeria, but who stopped because of the volatility in the FS market. Now they are watching, they are happy with what's going on. If there's reasonable stability, that if you buy raw material or if you buy goods in January, by March, April, May, you are still sure that the margin of movement is no more than 2-3%. But when you are having 50, 20, 30, 40%, almost 70% movement in FS, then you cannot plan, you cannot project, and your profits are going to be totally eroded. So I want and I hope that the CBN will now bring stability into the FS market such that the movement are very minimal. After we have stabilized at maybe 7-8 minimal within a period of 6 to 8 months, you are not having more than 3 to 5% movement. Then people can plan, can make projection on the basis of this. These are the things that investors are going to look at, and these are the things that I think the government and the CBN needs to work on.
Investor and manufacturer Dr. Ajulo Anthony has spoken insightfully on, the recent policy measures by the government in the fiscal, monetary, as well as regulatory sectors. We want to say a very big thank you to you, Doctor, for your insight on the program today.
Thank you very much.
Well, this is where we say our goodbyes on Business Daily this morning, but you can join the conversation on social media. Let us hear your thoughts as a person who is an investor either here in Nigeria or any part of the world. What are your thoughts, on the current recent policy measures we have seen from the government, and now how is that impacting on the investment climate here in Nigeria? From myself and the entire team working, it is goodbye for now, but my name remains Chiamaka Enendu.